Maybe. You're listening to Post-Credit Depression, where we discuss this week's current hyperfixation. My name is Kaylin, and I just got Navia on Genshin Impact.
My name's Mariah, and I just got Bennett for the first time on Genshin Impact.
My name's Kinsey, and I got Bennett for the 80th time on Genshin Impact.
Now you sound quiet.
What?
She just mumbled because she got food in her mouth.
Oh, she's like, nom, 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 nom.
I got Bennett for the 80th time.
We are a household of Bennett's supporters.
Bennett stands. He's really good.
He still fuck up people at level 90. Like, he really good.
Bro, make him a 5-star already. It's because he's a foster kid. He worked hard for his living. just the chewing on the mic has me dead. Well,
no worries, guys. My family just canceled Fortnite on me. We can record. I know.
No, we can't. Kenzie still has plans tonight.
I know. I was just letting y'all know.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave. I'll quit the podcast right now.
No, Kenzie was making fun of me. Kenzie was making fun of me.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, because I went like this. I went like, did you go like this? No, we don't know because we can't see you. It was me.
It was me.
Hello, Zane. I'll be the first one to leave.
The fact that you remembered that.
Are you gonna leave
I
the
didn't
band?
take a class in One Piece for One Direction for nothing.
You did. He was the first one to leave. But you know what, Kaylin? He ain't the most successful.
What's that have to do with anything? Maybe he wants a simple life. I think I like this little life.
Okay, so this week, I made you guys watch something very random, unexpected, not on my list. One of my Twitter mutuals has been watching this for a while, and I was like, you know what? I kind of wanted to watch this, and I read the manga, like the first volume, a couple months back because my aunt bought it for me. So this week, I made us watch 6 episodes of Blue Period.
You sound like a little kid, like a show and tell, like your mannerisms.
Yeah, that seems fitting.
The cats pushed something over that was very loud, so I had to go check.
It's okay. Oh. That's the life of being a cat mother. We respect you and salute you for your hard work of being a single mother.
I had no thought of this anime prior to watching it.
I had heard of this anime. I saw some tweets about it. I was like, that's got to be on my list. And then Mariah and I talked about it for a second. We were like, we should watch this. And then I think she told me she was watching it. And I was like, yeah, whatever that is. And then now we watched it for this week.
And we're here.
I was actually really nervous because I was like, what if this is not good? Because it's not, I would say it's not our typical anime that we watch. We like the full of suspense and the action.
It reminds me.
But go on.
How are you gonna orchestrate today's episode?
I want to say something. What'd you make my face for? I wanted to say, because she said it's not like an anime we've watched, and I was like, it reminds me of a sports anime. How like in the beginning, maybe the character's like not really that well like developed or like skilled yet, and we get to watch them fail and learn lessons. That's it. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, it definitely does kind of give, like, I would say even, like, there's times where, like, he's questioning something about art, and the teacher breaks it down, like, in haiku, when they're like, what's a libro? And they're like, let's explain this part about volleyball. Yeah, so, like, it definitely gave that kind of vibes where he was, like, trying to do it, and then they would explain exactly what it is. Also, to answer your question, Kinsey, I got nothing. We're just going at it and talking about it.
Oh.
Kinsey, were you triggered back to like foundation year or like art class in high school? I was like watching them with that putty eraser. I was like, I don't want to go back there.
I was triggered by a lot of art things. So overall, by the way, I really liked the show. I hated the character at first, like a lot. I was like, wow, it gave off the most toxic, like you walk into freshman year and everybody thinks they're better than each other and they're all fucking rude and they think they're like gift from God.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, I don't even know how I'm gonna like this character, but I loved his design.
Yeah.
Then he started like actually being nice, and then I realized
Like,
maybe
Kaylin and I were talking about how he needed a little more, like, buffer between the asshole, like, a little more redemption. Like, I was telling her, they tried to do it in just the first episode. Like, he was like, "Yeah, I live life on statistics. If I
No,
study, get good grades. If I do this, I get this." And then he did that first painting, and he, like, felt emotions for the first time, and he was like, "Life is more than
Well,
just statistics." And I was
not
like,
only
"That
that,
was awesome, but I wish they woulda just did, like, a little, like, maybe, like,
like
even an apology tour."
couldn't he have like just been a little bit of a douchebag for a little longer, just because it doesn't seem like it would
yeah,
100%
just
disappear
overnight,
like
like
that.
Yeah, like, if he just kept being an asshole, he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying this whole art thing. It ain't that bad." And then all of a sudden it hit him.
yeah, I
But
had said to
overall,
Mariah, I brought it up. I said, he went from being transphobic and roasting this trans girl for, liking art and saying she'll go nowhere in life to overnight being like, actually, art conveys a lot of emotions. I can't say, and I think I'm gonna major in it. And also, I'm
first
gonna
of
be
all,
nice to everyone.
we didn't even know she was trans at first. So it's like at first I thought he was just making those comments to her because she was a cis woman or something. Um, so like I wonder if he knew when he was making those comments
Yeah,
at
he
the
did.
beginning.
I watched the first 2 episodes in Japanese, and they did not talk about her, like, dress as implied as they did in the English dub. Like, he made a comment about how she dressed. She was just like, "Yeah, you think you can do that getting dressed like that?" And I just thought he was, like, calling her a whore or something. I was like, "Damn, you fucking asshole." But then when I watched it back, because I watched the first episode with Kaylin, and it was in English, I was like, "Oh. Oh, he said a little more than that."
Yeah.
You know that I think it's funny how the art teacher said to draw your girlfriend's boobs and make them jiggly. I was like, she don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm drawing the girl's boobs," and she's like, "Well, I hope they capture just how beautiful and luscious they are."
You know what part made me laugh really hard at the beginning? When he gets into the art class, blah blah blah, they're doing artwork, and then summer break's about to start, and she's like, "Okay, so this is your homework. You have this many assignments. Try your best." By the way, she's an amazing art teacher, and he's like, "Really? That's all?" And then the other art students were like, "That's a lot, actually." It felt like I was in high school when I was in AP art. We would have our little right before the summer meeting, would tell us our homework for the summer, and she'd be like, make sure you get it done because last year like almost all of you didn't. But she was a lot meaner, and it was like it was refreshing seeing this art teacher be like, try your best. And I thought what was really realistic was the other art students reactions, like, shut the fuck up, that's a lot of work.
Gosh.
Or having to turn in a sketchbook at the end of every summer break at college.
Yeah, I stopped doing that after like sophomore year. When I came for sophomore year, I had like 20 pages filled in, maybe less, and I was like, that wasn't even half of my sketchbook. And after that, I never did a summer sketchbook. Never.
Or they
Yeah.
just didn't care.
I thought they were gonna check, and they never would check. And so you pull up to school the first week, and you're like, of the illustration department, and they didn't
We had
check.
to turn hours in. That's interesting.
Really, I kind of wish they were more serious about it, because being in like a daily sketching routine as if you floss your teeth every day is like so crucial.
Yeah. Man,
Um,
I was speaking on like the triggered part. I love the lessons he's learning. Like even after his like first successful painting, then he tried to like kind of like rely on it, like kind of like when you stumble upon something in art, like whether it's a style or a certain like exact pose, and they're like, no, challenge yourself, try something different now. It was like, wow, like that they're really covering a lot of like basic lessons that somebody who had never done art before that would be like mind blowing to them, you know?
Yeah, watching it as an artist, I was like, dude, you literally did it again. Like, what was that about? Like, like, first of all, it was very like, I don't know. It
it's
was
kinda
more.
like the delinquent art. Like, you would, like, you're so naive, you're like, "Yeah, I love drawing this house," then you draw the house again, but it's, like, a different side of the house. Like, once you think you found your niche when you first start drawing, you're like, "This is all I'm gonna draw."
No,
But I think it
literally
was the
me when
fact
I
that he
was
drew the
drawing
same
anime faces.
composition,
Yeah.
and
When
then
I
he
was
just
drawing
slapped a
anime
mouth in
faces
it.
in high school, no, not high school, middle school. When I was drawing anime faces in middle school, I was showing somebody my sketches. They were like a grown up because my mom hung out with a lot of grown ups. So I was sitting here showing strangers like artwork, and this random man, boy, he was more like a young, like 20, like in his 20s, was like, it's literally the same face over and over again. And I was the most offended ever because all I did was change the hair. I was like, I cannot believe he just fucking insulted me. Does he hate me? You know?
Oh my gosh.
No,
Kinsey, did you?
Wait, sorry. Kaylin had mentioned that. Can I mention really quickly something that happened to me as an artist when I was a kid?
Yeah.
I drew Garfield 24/7, and I liked the attention I would get when I would draw him. So what I did is I went to every single student in my class. I said, "You want to see something?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I pulled out a paper and I grabbed a pencil and I would draw the same Garfield face. Like, holy shit! And I did that to every student. There was 30 students. And then I was like, "What am I gonna do?" I was like, "Draw it again." So then I sat down. I was like, "Guys, check this out." I draw it again, and some kid was like, "So can you only draw Garfield or what?" Like, and I was like,
Damn.
and I was like, "I gotta up my game." And
It came for you.
he's like, "Dude, you already showed us that. Can you draw something else now?" But I thought it was funny.
I have one more little fun artist story. Like while we're on artist stories from middle school, don't gape your mouth. I'll do something else to your mouth if you don't stop.
You already
Um,
you already told a story.
I know, but you just reminded me. In middle school, it's always middle school. In middle school, this girl, the avid horse girl, like actually looked like a horse girl with the long hair that's uncut and everything. And the way she was acting, she's like, she came up to me and she's like, "I want to do a horse drawing contest." And I was like, "Okay." And like everybody was like, "Horse drawing contest," like like literally maybe 4 other kids, but like gathered around the table, and she drew like the whole body and everything. But me, I don't know, relying on like what I knew, I drew like the face at a 3/4 angle, and you know how you make this the face very like fucking rectangular and shit. I don't know. I just like really went in with like actual like volume and stuff. It didn't look like a 2D one from the side. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna blow them away, and I did. I won, but not that that was important. I
won.
was like, you try pulling up
Oh my
on me.
gosh.
I was like,
She
I got
didn't
a trick.
know. She didn't know who she was messing with.
She didn't know I could turn it in space to 3/4.
My gosh. Kinsey, I had already talked to Kaylin about this, but did you like in the first episode when he came up to that artist and he was like, "Wow, you're so talented," and
Oh,
she
that
was
was
like
one of my favorite.
immediately offended that he said that she was only talented.
Yeah, I thought for like an anime about art, I really liked how the entire show after after that
Mm-hmm.
point, that's what the whole show's about is like it takes time and effort and skill, and I will literally wrestle someone to the ground and kill them over the fact that talent does not exist. So I did like that. I think any skill like singing,
Oh yeah, he even
sports.
acknowledged it after she said that. He was like, "You know what? I kind of relate," because his friends, remember, they were like, "You're such a genius," but little did they know he was like literally spending his whole life studying.
Well, yeah, he was like, I didn't do the work. And the thing about, I mean, I'm not talking about like scientists that invent things or like things like that, but technically, if you're just studying a craft, all you're doing is studying it. And with art in the show, he's learning that, yeah, you can study the fundamentals, but if you want to make something, like if you want to bring something into existence, it's not just knowing fundamentals, it's like
Oh my god.
creating something. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I like seeing him see that it's not just talent because talent doesn't exist. It's skill, but then it's also thought, like very
Yes.
intentional. Like they don't just pull up to this canvas and it just, appears. But yeah,
You
I
know,
thought it was cool.
that was one of my other favorite quotes. It was the other art teacher, the one that looked like a yandere, like a little bit.
Oh yeah, she's funny.
One so the first one actually maybe have hope in the rest of the show, like for it being about art, like the first quote you just mentioned. But she had a quote talking just what Kinsey said. She's like, you can have all the technical skill you want, and you can try to mimic the other masters or the other students that was ahead of you, but there's no point in comparing yourself. We got to find out what you like, as well as like she's like she said your art will be derivative if all you do is focus on the technique and just like paste it down. She's like, you have to find what you
Yeah,
like. And
I like.
oh, I was just gonna say it's got me thinking about like the AI art thing, you know, just like how these people are calling themselves an artist with it. It's like a huge fad. I can't wait for it to die. I can't wait for that to be like a little blip in history that we leave behind,
I like
because
how she
you
mentioned.
can't you can't be an
kill myself.
artist without that creativity Kinsey was talking about. It's the skill, but then what is it that you do with the skill creatively and inventive, you know?
What I was saying that what I like is that she said that your skill and foundation can only get to you so far before you just start literally copying other artists. And it's like, don't stop comparing yourself to other artists because you literally can't. You can't beat them at them being who they are. That's the truth. You can copy them as much as you want. You can learn all their skills, but you will never be able to create an idea the way that they do because it's them, you know? Like you can't morph into somebody. So you might as well stop wasting your time trying to do that and develop who you are, which will be, indistinguishable.
Yeah, I think like that like whole realization he has when he's like in that summer art program with that other art teacher, like it's so paralleling to I would say almost every young artist. Like him, he's in a setting where he's comparing himself with people who have like years of experience on him or at the same level as him. And he's like, I feel like every episode he's having like breakthroughs, breakdowns, breakthroughs, breakdowns with like finding his own little artistic journey. And I was like, this is like insane because every artist I know has basically had like moments like this.
Or there's the people who are like that one kid who pulled up and she's like, "Have you drawn sculptures before or bust before?" And he's like, "Nope, my first time." And
No.
I was like, "Oh my god, that feeling when either somebody younger or like it's their first time at some it's that Longa and Reki shit. You're just like, I've spent my entire life trying to
Yeah.
do this."
Yeah, you're like, this is
I
my
actually
specialty.
I actually almost started crying watching the show because something about watching him progress, and I only watched the first 6 episodes. So far all the progress he's made just studying and learning more, and he really is coming from a level of literal to no understanding from the beginning. Like he had to
Yeah.
learn what composition was. There's artists there that had been drawing for years that have known what composition is for years. So seeing him fall in love with the process and begin to stop being so obsessed with the end product, he's starting to really like enjoy the problem solving of art. And that's
Yeah.
what made me almost cry watching the episodes. Like every time, it wasn't like one moment where he said something. It was every episode while throughout the episode I'd see him like, get excited about an idea and get excited about even solving the idea. And by the time the drawing was done, he was excited to get back into the process, not
Mhm.
necessarily the end result. And it like really made me think about my own artistic journey and like why I might struggle sometimes emotionally and I feel so disconnected from being in love with the process. Obviously, I feel like I've really grown and gotten better at it within the last 2 years, but I will say I tend to focus a lot on the end goal when really when you really are in it and you are enjoying the process, you don't really care about how it's going to end. You
Yeah.
you actually don't really want it to, you know?
Yeah, and that's like part of the reasons why I told Kaylin I wanted to watch another episode because I felt like you said every episode was him enjoying the process, getting the final one, and at the end of 5, mid 6, right, is when he first hit like what I felt like was a roadblock for him, where he was like, "Yeah, I'm enjoying this process. Here's my art. Here I am. I'm having fun." And then he turned that art in the one that you talked about that was like the basically the same composition. And I think that moment was the first time where he was like, "Wait a second." It was like the first actual roadblock he had, like when it came to him doing his art.
Well, I
Mhm.
think he was having roadblocks. I think that roadblock is what made him realize, it's not he's like so autistic about the foundations. He's like if I get better
Yeah.
at color, if I get better at composition, if I get better at all these things, then my art will be better. And then when he visited the girl that I totally think he has a crush on, um to see her work in college and notice that it's the intention, it's that invisible thing, aka the emotion behind your work that is supposed to be amplified by the tools, which is the color, the composition, the material that you use. Like that breakthrough that he had in the 6th episode, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
to me was him realizing that it's not just drawing good drawing. When I was a freshman in my drawing class, um my second project I had done my first project and I had gotten such an amazing review on it. I was actually my teacher at the time, this is probably really bad of him. He would rank the drawings in order of who did best that week, and I got number 1 the first week. So I was like, "Fuck yes, this is great." So for the next project, I was like, "Dude, I'm just going to like rinse and repeat. I'm going to do the same kind of process but a different drawing." So it was a different drawing, but there was no intention behind this one. And when I pulled up to critique, I thought I had it in the bag. And he literally said to me in front of everybody, he said, "We get it. You can draw. What's the point of this drawing, though?" And I was like, he's like, "Sure, that is very lovely and, like, rendered very well, but what the fuck am I looking at?" And I was like, "Damn." So it was kinda like when he had that moment, I was like, "Yeah, girl, like, you gotta be attached to why you're doing it, you know?"
Yeah. Damn. No, and that's definitely, I would say, a very much what happened with him with his other drawing.
Mm-hmm.
Or the teacher came for him too. She was like, what is this?
What else I liked, you made us watch one more episode, which honestly was still a sad episode of like talking about all these
Yeah.
depressed artists and how the one girl ended up in the hospital. But what I did like about it, and this is something that I just noticed, like, especially when it came to critique, and I really enjoyed when we were in our majors, we all had the same classmates for all of the years, and I I think that that helped in a lot of ways, at least, like, you know, they were a bit more strangers at first, and you kind of watched the competition fizzle out, like, because I think everybody was there, like, trying to do our very best, and I could see when someone would go up and get roasted versus somebody might have a really great week. It's like, you know, I would feel like hot shit when I would do good, but guess what? I also saw everybody, like, have their ups and have their downs, so there's no point in comparing. You literally, and they say that in the anime too, they're like, "Stop comparing yourself to others." And it's such a freeing experience once you, like, progress past that adolescent, like, you know, I have to do my best and be the best, and, you know, literally you just start
Yeah.
focusing on yourself and your own growth, your own intention. And I loved towards the end of, like, at least my major, all my peers drifted off into completely different things and became who they wanted to be, who they needed to be. And I enjoyed that for, like, even with me, like, I enjoyed where I ended up going, you know? And there's, like, no reason to compare it.
I literally loved seeing them become close friends. Like, I'm not saying they're, like, bestest friends, but, like, there is a vibe and a feeling that I feel like art students really only know when you are with a class of people
Yeah.
that you consistently keep working with.
You see every damn day, even when you don't want to. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, I know this class is, like, just a prep school thing, so they're not gonna be doing it for a long time, but when what Kaylin said, when you have classes with people for years and you see them grow as an illustrator or an animator and stuff like that, it's like they're besides the shitty people, there's this camaraderie where you see them on their bad days and you see them on good days, and you feel comfortable putting your work up there for the most part. And really felt like they showed that vibe very well in the show, and I
Yeah. I
loved
liked how the
seeing
one
it.
guy, like, was forcing them to be friends, because that's literally how I felt when I would show up. Like, eventually they were like, "Mariah, we like you. You're one of us." And I was like, "Okay."
Mhm.
No, that
But
one guy, the one with the 2 dots on his eyes, he straight up was like, "I don't like this. I'm
oh,
going home."
yeah. What
And
was up with that?
he
Like, the
got
one
up
with the long braids, he was like, "We're all buds, remember?" And then the other guy was like, "I actually hate it here." And I was like, "What?"
he was like, You know what it was, is you see students like this all the time in art school. I feel like I was almost one of them, where they're really, really skilled coming in because your foundations is very important. And when they're put to the test of, like, you need to grow and change and you need to, like, put something into your work that's not just value, aka my drawing teacher saying, "We get it, you can draw." I was like, "Damn." Um, sometimes students like that example will straight up just give up and they'll be like, "I don't want to do this anymore." And I had seen so many people in illustration drop out that were really good or even go to different schools. Could have been for other reasons, but let's just say it was one of those where they just, like, got really fed up with the whole, like, environment, or they, like, maybe realized it wasn't for them, you know? But I feel like this character that I'm referring to in the show seems like he's really struggling with his own art. Like, why do you do art? It feels like he did art for validation, and the moment that he was not getting that in the class as often because he wasn't growing and changing,
Mhm.
he was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, like, the passion and the why wasn't there. He was just like, "My parents are making me here, I'm good at art, so that's what I'm doing." And, like, he
Mhm.
wasn't, like, enjoying that version of himself.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
mean, like, I think he literally likes the validation of it. It's this thing that he's worked for so long, and he's not getting it because our main character, who's actually growing and changing, and, like,
Yeah.
his work is evolving. This other dude, I wish I knew their names. Dude with little dots under his eyes. He's literally pissed. He's like, "I don't like you." He's like, "You're good at everything, and now you're getting good at art." He's like, "This was my thing." So clearly, that
Mhm.
is showing that he uses art for validation, not to grow and change, not to
That's
make
what I meant, like, the why and the passion. Like, you should still have your own personal why when you do anything, even if it's not art. Like, what's your why when you're doing art versus, like,
and
yeah, I'm just doing it to get appreciation. It's like,
Yeah.
does that help you, though?
Yeah.
I think if I were to pick any one of them,
Talk louder, please. I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I related the most to the main character. Maybe it's because we see the most sides to him. Besides the fact that I did draw my whole life, it's just that is the only skill I had prior to art school. That and, my senior year of high school where I actually was able to find some art classes. Not that I learned, like, as much as I could have had. Maybe I had more years of art classes. There was, like, one semester of some foundation shit. But when I got to specifically my first year in animation, the way that they pushed me in so many different directions to try and experiment things, it almost crushed me. Like, when it came to art, almost made me give up because I wasn't seeing progress in any one area because they were pushing me. They're like, now try this. Now try this. And, like, I was like, oh my God, like, none of it's good because I was, like, completely different. And then junior year, it's like I took everything I had learned and, like, finally made something, and I was, like, so close to giving up because it was a whole year of trial and error shit, and I was just so frustrated, like, almost, like, feeling like I failed every time. And then, the one part that made me, like, kind of, like, teary a bit, it reminded me of Dave when he went on his winter break and kept practicing the whole break instead of just relaxing. Because I did that with this one particular spring break, and when I came back, like, he was like, "I can tell that you really focus, you really practice it." Like, it was one of the first times he had ever said, like, that much praise or he was proud of me after, like, literally not like, roasts, but, like, so many, like, critical, "You can do better. Try this. You can do better." And it was, like, a whole year of that, and then, like, right towards the end in the springtime, he was like, "You're really growing. Wow, you have so much potential." And I was like, "Really?"
Bro, straight up, not that I'm trying to jump from story to story, but, like, the reason, like, this anime really was, like, I was tearing up because when I looked at the main character, it reminded me so much of how I felt my freshman year at college. Like, I know Kaylin just mentioned how in animation they were, like, giving her too many projects and she was getting really overwhelmed and that's really stressful. I feel like freshman year, I was so excited about art and nobody had gotten into my head yet. Nobody had told me who they thought I should be. So I was just having fun with each one of the projects. Every time I would get a project, I was like, how do I want to do this? Because I don't want to, like, hate my time doing this. Like, how do I want to have fun? And I'd be so excited. Even if it was like some shit I didn't do. Like, I went into that design class. I said, oh my God, why do I have a design class? It's so stupid. Like, I just want to draw. And every time we'd be given a project, I was like, I want to have fun with this. So how can I use blocks and have fun with it or something, right? And it taught me so much about how to make the process fun for you. And then when I got into my major, I feel like I really struggled having that thought process again because so many voices were telling me who I was. So many people were telling me that I wasn't trying or that I didn't care because my work wasn't excelling and I was anxious because of it. So seeing this character who's literally so, beginner level, has no reason to really be told to continue going. And all he's doing is finding the excitement in his work, which thus makes him advance faster and faster and faster. It just reminds me so much of my freshman year because that's how I felt. I felt like I was working all the time. I was constantly in the studio. I was super tired, but I didn't care. Like, I was so obsessed. I was so in love with my work that you wouldn't not see me in the studio. Um, and so, like, it honestly was making me cry because I was like, that's what art's supposed to be. Not that you're supposed to be a workaholic, but if you really love what you're doing, you're going to want to sit down and do it, you know?
Yeah, like, he clearly had no problem diving in. Like, I obviously, like, I started late when it came to, like, my design career, so, like, I was, like, all the time I was, like, learning new stuff, trying to do new things. I'm like, I don't know how they did that, but I'm gonna figure this out. And it really depicts, like, him, yeah, like, loving what he was doing, every step of it. Every time he was trying to learn something new, or every time he learned something new, he's like, I wanna do that again. Let me try to do that again. I think they depict that, like, new artist feeling so well, especially with him going in, like you said, he went in with all these people that already were ahead of him, or ahead of him, how he felt. He was like, I should be able to do this, this, and this already. So I think they did a really good job of depicting, like, what it feels like your first time being exposed to, like, that environment.
Mhm.
Yeah. I when I use the word triggering, I mean it super lightly, but, like, it really takes me back to those, like, what it's almost weird because I feel like I can kind of see an older version of myself and the things that she didn't know, and then here I am in the present knowing what I know now and have learned those lessons, and it's like, um, it's crazy how simple they seem when you're watching the show, but how mind expanding. I remember those moments, they would feel like the entire world just changed, like, when something would click, it, like, fucking clicked, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting in the show too because it feels like obviously we have the main character and then we have the other characters. I feel like they're all kind of on their own little different journey and timeline, so it's really interesting to see how they all are like because I think they all are depicting a type of artist that exists, like from our main guy to the little guy to the girl who freaked out when her thing got first because her whole family was like already in the art school. Like, and they all kind of depict a different type of creative person that's out there already. So I think it'll be really interesting to see, like, moving forward their stories.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
really did hit a lot of, like, stereotypes I've seen in school of, like, somebody who comes from an artist family, somebody who literally isolates themselves if they're not doing the best, like, people straight up not eating and sleeping and junk like that. Like, I
It
thought it
goes
was
to show
pretty
how
good.
universal, like, the art world really is and how, you know, it's weird because going to art school, at first I thought I hated it because I was running into other naive artists, but, like, here I am on the board, a naive artist, myself, you know what I mean, with my own, you know, things that I had thought and assumed of people. But then by the end of art school, I was like it was kind of hard to make friends with people who weren't at least somewhat creative because, like, the way that artists are so much like, and I'm speaking generally, I'm talking about the people who have, like, maybe learned some lessons, but, uh, learning collaboration or feedback skills or just, like, even knowing how to talk about something passionately and excitedly with, soul and interest and things like that. Like, I hate showing somebody a piece of artwork or something I made, and they're like, "Cool." Like, that's one of the, like, most insulting things, like, I don't know. If you
Kayla and
can't
I
even
were
sit there and
just
be
talking
excited,
about that the other day. We were
like,
just like,
you
"Damn,
don't
like,
even have to
you
like,
don't give a
praise me,
fuck?"
like, a ton if I show you something, but, like, if you're just like, "Okay, cool." Like, it's like, I just spent 8 hours on that, man. You could at least, like, look at it a little longer than a split second or, like, even if you just personally don't like it, like, let's say it's not your taste, that's not what I'm talking about. Like, just the fact that I went and, set my goal to do something and did it. Not that I'm doing it necessarily for validation, I'm just saying that, like, artist friends know how to sit there and even, like, pick it apart and be like, "You know what would make it even better?" And, like,
I think
that's not
it's
a
more
ro
so I wanna talk to people about art who actually have an interest in it, because if somebody's responding, whether they like your work or not, and they say, "That's cool," they are clearly not an artist, because an artist that doesn't even have the taste that you have would still talk to you about your work. They'd be like, because it's art, bro. I will talk to anybody about their work. They could be doing something completely different from me. I'll be like, "Let me check out your work." And then I'll have, like, my opinion about it. But, like, I'll talk to them about it, be like, "Why'd you do it?" And it's because, honestly, I eat, sleep, shit, breathe this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Even
so
the subtle things like you said, like, "Why'd you choose to do this?"
and I'm asking because I care. So, like, when you talk to someone who either isn't an artist or has absolutely no, like, information or interest in art, you can tell by their response. Like, I have a friend
Mhm.
who he doesn't draw at all, but he loves to talk about art. He can talk to me about art more than some artists that I even talk to, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be per se, like, praise or validation, but even the conversation, like, "I really arrived at this point, let me show you," and I might even be proud of myself, but it might be like, "Here's what the journey was like to get there," and then you're like, "Yeah, I've had similar journeys, here's what helped me, here's what could help you," and then it's, like, just this passionate, intimate moment that, like, artists can have with one another that I ended up that's what I'm saying is, like, when I went into art school, it was a lot of scared children, honestly, like, right out of high school, and we're all kinda like fend for yourself, you know what I mean? And it was a bit competitive, and I saw so many tears, like, from other artists that were just terrified, and I have been the kid crying in the hall before, you know? And it's intense, but when you come out on the other side of it and you make, like, real artist friends, it's so nice, like, I've been saying to you guys for months, like, I'm like, "We need to go to the art museum again and, like, pick a topic to go, like, just explore around." I
Yeah, I mean, even that like, minor validation from, like, friends is just appreciated. Even, like, his, like, loser friends in the anime, when they finally, like, acknowledged his drawings and he, like, had a whole, like, moment, like, emotionally, like, "While my friends get me." like even that was like honestly like shocking for that to like really be represented. Like I remember like the first time like my like normie friends were like, "Oh, so like this is what you do?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah. And it's like nice just to be like seen for like the work that you actually do. Well, other than that, I'm trying to remember. I had a question about the girl and I don't remember now.
We're talking
Hold
about
on.
Girl.
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure the blonde girl, the trans girl, did she drop out? She's not even going to class.
She's in a different. So he's doing like oil painting. She's doing a different medium. I can't remember what it is.
Didn't you watch the episode where her father's like, "Why aren't you going to class?" And she hasn't been showing up to class.
She's upset about the boy, so she hasn't showed up.
I think this is what has happened. She was in class doing art and then got distracted by the attention of boys in general, not just the one that, said no to her. And I think it's like a really realistic. I actually really like them showing this side of the anime because I did this too. When you're in art school and you're working on art and it's stressful and it's a lot of time, there is far and few times where you're getting like serotonin or anything, like especially if you're in a really, really low mindset, if you're feeling really bad about yourself. And I noticed many artists alongside myself kind of like succumb to either like substance abuse or spending time with people that they shouldn't be spending time with romantically and stuff like that, because it's the validation, it's the appreciation for who you are. And if your entire life you valued who you are based off your art, and then for the first time in your life you feel like you're struggling with it really, really bad, you might turn to some things that aren't the best. And seeing her in the anime turn to being addicted to attention from men was very realistic, because you even see artists do that with just alcohol and drugs. So
no, I actually, it's like, I thought she was taking like a different class altogether. Like, I know she's in a different part. But for a second there, I forgot that she drew, because I remember her drawing in the beginning. I thought she did like sim or something with the fact that she was cosplaying a lot, but like, maybe she was, but it's really cool that you brought that up, because I was like, not really paying too much attention to her class story, not until the dad like was roasting her, and then I was like, oh, she's skipping class. But like making that correlation is, and even just showing how hard it can be on artists mentally, because it is like we all enter it knowing it's, oh, I'm going to go and try to become an artist. It's not like becoming a pharmacist, where at the end of it you get all these like job offers and bonuses. Not to say that it is the most emotionally gratifying job, but like it is 1 + 1 = 2. You're going to get a job if you have the degree and the licenses for it. But art isn't guaranteed, and it's like when something's not guaranteed, there's too many unknowns, and when there's unknowns, our brains just go into panic. And
I just think there's so many things artists struggle with, and it's like knowing that it's all on you, the money part, if you're just doing bad on your craft, the outside criticism, what if you get a bad teacher? I'm not going to, but I can pull up my entire art college history and look at the times where I was falling apart, and now I know why. And a lot of the times it was external reasons that were affecting my internal feelings that were already in a low place. Like, you can't, a lot of artists tend to come from broken homes and like really interesting backgrounds. Like, it's really hard.
Like obviously we don't know, because I've read past like where the show is, so I know she has like a whole gender thing, like a whole gender crisis, which that doesn't help either. We like trying to discover yourself while also trying to plan out your future with your art and stuff like that. It's not beneficial all at the same time. Like you're also a young adult trying to plan your whole life in 4 years.
Yeah.
So, but I like her character from what I like remember and everything, so I'm kind of excited to see how her character develops as well.
Right now I'm really worried about her.
Yeah.
I'm really stressed out for her.
Fair enough. I mean, I like seeing our main guy like be actually sentimental with her when she like has that moment when the boy breaks up with her.
Can we talk about like I kind of ship our main character with several people. I ship him with Braid. I ship him with trans girl. I ship him with
I do.
girl off to college a lot. I don't know. They're just so sweet when they're with each other. I'm like, oh, you
They
guys.
are really sweet.
But like hot wise, I ship him with Braid Man a lot.
Braid Man's character, I was like, either you're gonna be like a horrible asshole person who like actually is gonna be a piece of shit. We're not gonna like you. But he was the complete opposite. Like he was like so casual and chill.
He was like,
yeah, I thought he was gonna be like the antagonist.
Yeah, because he had, I don't know, his hair is so aggressive, you know. But you know who the antagonist?
Yeah. The way they pan over to him, he just stands out like, yeah, I'm the best. I'll come after you. And I was like,
the real antagonist is little Miss, China doll with
that's the little guy.
That's Mr. Antagonist.
For no reason. He has no reason to be the antagonist. He's just antisocial.
Yeah.
He's just over here having no friends, destroying this man's life for no reason.
Our main character, though, is like, oh my god, I really can't. I think our main character is Libra.
Bro, Yuki, I think that's his name. Yuki, he literally is like,
he's a Libra.
I just want to be friends with you. I just want to be friends with you. I just want to be friends with you. I like your art. Your art's cool. Let me see more of your art. Let's be friends. Let's do art together. And everyone's like, whoa. Who the fuck are you?
Run into like, and this is just a trope that I've seen like a couple times throughout art school, and maybe literally I'm like putting it all out there. Is I want to see the gatekeeper artist that is like, I don't know, got a god complex and does.
I thought it was gonna be that girl whose like sisters were
yeah, they made her way nicer than they needed to.
I thought she was gonna be the gatekeeping artist. Like he was gonna come and talk to her, and she was gonna be like, "Excuse you, I'm literally better than you. My sister is in college. My other sister's a professional artist."
Mm-hmm. Like, and I want to see that character go through like just an arc of like, because and I've seen people where they don't ever learn this arc, but like this arc of just like what's it called? Like, oh my god, I don't own this. You know, like I can't. There are other artists, and I have to be, who I am, and like, you know what I mean? Like just letting other people into their circle, because it's also coming from a place of fear, like,
Yeah, because so far all the artists he's met have been very helpful to like him and resources and telling him like information that he might need. So I wouldn't be surprised if they give us a character with that. I mean, even the little guy's kind of like that, but he's just more like a weirdo.
Mm-hmm. I'm interested to see, because I think this is a very important conversation in the art community. I'm interested to see, is there going to be something that he asks to share with another artist that another artist doesn't want to share with him, and there's a realistic reason as to why? Because I truly, like, 80% of my being think a lot of things in art should be shared, and I think there are several things that should not be shared. Because if you develop your own personal style, something super unique, like one thing I didn't understand.
They touched on it a little bit when he was studying the successful paintings a little too hard. She's like, hold on, if you try to copy that, like you're just going to be derivative. Like she sent him home and made him like play around and experiment. She's like, you have to go figure out your what you like and your identity.
Yeah.
She's like, go to the museum, figure it out. Like, so I think they touched on that, but like, I don't know. I feel like you said, everybody's been very nice, and in like, I know there's the one that's a little antisocial. I guess you could call him the gatekeeper one, where he's like, you had your thing and art was my thing. I guess he would technically be that character, but I don't know. I just that's a very, like, if they added somebody like that.
Well, I could see his character developing more intensely like that. Maybe they like finally, because the episode we left off is them hanging out. Maybe like they start getting closer, and he's like, yeah, so like, how'd you do this? And he's like, I'm not telling you.
Because that is a realistic part of going to art school.
Do you think Douchebag Man likes our main character?
I think he's intrigued by him more so like you're doing so much. Like, how are you capable of doing this and this and this? And, I don't know. I think he's intrigued by him. I wouldn't say like he has a crush on him yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think he finds him fascinating.
I get crush vibes.
Yeah, why you call him up for no reason then hang up? You ain't have no other friends to call? You can call the guy at the braids. You guys seem friends.
This is my theory. He had a crush on him, hates himself for it already, and he's like, "Well, right. It's like think of it as like enemies to lovers. Like before our main man did art, douchebag dude was like, damn it, I can't help but like him, but he's so good at everything. Like I'm just gonna keep doing art. I'm just gonna ignore my feelings. Then he pulls up as an artist, and he's like, not only are you hot as fuck and I want to be with you, but you're also trying to be better at something I want to be good at, because he still has like his own like validation issues. So it's like this like love. I'm getting love-hate vibes. I'm sorry. I'm getting like I have a crush on you, and I hate that I do because I just want my own thing, and you take everything from me.
Yeah, that's fitting.
That's what I'm saying. But I guess he technically would be the gatekeeper artist. When I say the word gatekeeping, I'm not talking about like resources. I'm talking about being an artist, because he's like, you're already really smart, and you have all the potential to go do other stuff, and you're trying to be an artist too. Like.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. This entire show.
I'm excited. I really think they're gonna really grow. Like each of these artists are growing into like, an artist quote unquote stereotype. So it'll be very interesting to see how they grow and develop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like and not to like a super extreme level, but I do remember like my brother, his whole thing was playing the guitar and like singing. And I remember my only thing ever was drawing. And he played sports, he did like other stuff, and I was like, I'm the artist, I'm the artist, I'm the artist. And he would draw once in a while, and like my head would turn. I'm like, excuse me.
I'm also excited to see them explore different mediums of art, because our man's has only done oil painting.
What if my hair was this short?
What'd you say, Kinsey?
And it flips like that too.
Look. What do you think?
You would hate it.
It gives like anime MILF, like where they have
their
hair.
Yeah, it does, like Longa's mom from Skate.
She has long hair.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of the art teacher from this anime. How it was all.
It is giving the art teacher.
Is it giving? Say, what's her name from Squid Games? Song Byuk.
It's not giving her hair.
Fuck you. Maybe just a little bit of like right here. Look.
Yeah, you do some like layers and like mess it up, and it'll give her.
I look androgynous. There's nothing wrong with that, but I do. Caitlin said that if I shaved my head, I would look like my dad.
Probably, yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat.
If I shaved my head, I would look like my dad too. It's okay.
Right, we should shave our heads.
It's a great. I have a great idea. We should shave our heads.
You're right. Caitlin, you have to too, because you also look like your father. We can all get them in the same room together and get famous off of YouTube.
I'm sorry, my dad in the same room with your dad's would not work out.
Oh my god.
That is so funny.
I think Kinsey's dad would do the most talking.
Yeah, he'd be like, "So, y'all ever been?"
My dad would look like he's got like a stick up his butt, like nervous as hell, sweating bullets. He'd be like, "Hi."
Your dad would be like,
"Oh my god."
He's like, "I know about the club."
And Mariah's dad would be like this.
Dang. He would talk if we were on talking terms.
What was your guys' favorite art piece he did in the whole anime? And not the titties.
He didn't do that. His friend did.
I know.
My favorite piece so far is his molten lava circle thing that he did.
Oh, the Bond piece? That was my favorite too.
Mine was the Blue City.
The first painting?
That's such a Mariah answer. My God. She's like,
I think it's gonna come back. I think it's gonna come back like a callback when he masters his art. He'll draw it again.
I like how he felt feelings for the first time.
I did like that. He was like,
art.
He did.
Me and Kinsey are like, we like this one because it's the best.
He literally was like, I realized that everything was blue, and I was like,
when I watched that scene, I was sitting there, and I was like, if Mariah was here, I'd be like.
He made fun of me when he started crying.
Yeah,
when he started crying and his friends made fun of him.
That's what I'm saying. I would have been like, that's you, Mariah. That's you.
It's rude. Rude. Dang. Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I honestly might keep watching it. I really want to see what's gonna happen.
Oh, it's a good
one. Fail.
Yeah, I genuinely think they're building up for him to have a fail moment. Which is not bad. It's normal. In any
sophomore in high school, yeah, he has room to fail.
In any like life or anything in experience, like even not art related, I think it's very normal for you to fail and have a moment of like almost like a midlife crisis, like him being like, "Is this really what I want to do?"
In case you don't know, he is a junior right now.
Yeah.
So
He's going into
fails,
he's in the
and
summer
he'll
before
have
his senior
nothing
year,
else
right?
to try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see him fail too, and
we're rooting on his downfall, everyone.
Also, I literally asked Kinsey after sophomore year. I actually was so close to giving up on art and joining the army because I was
I
like,
know.
I
You know
can't
what I
do
was
this.
telling
Like,
Kaylin all the time? I was like, Kaylin, you have some really mean teachers. I was like, when I see your homework when you come home to our dorm and you would tell us what you would do, I don't think anyone would be happy with doing work like that all the time. Like with
Yeah.
teachers that are mean as fuck to you, Kaylin would come home and she would tell us about these animation critiques, and I'd honestly I'd be like, you know, I've been having bad critiques in illustration, but at least it's not like that. Like, it would stress me out. So then when we ended sophomore year and Kaylin was like, hear me out, dude. I don't think I could do this. I think I need to go to the army.
join the army.
I was like, I think you have horrendous teachers, and like it's almost like you're in this one
Me
bubble.
wanting to go join boot camp instead of going to my critique.
Imagine Kaylin in boot camp.
I was
And
like,
I was
I'll
like,
lose
dude,
some weight, Kinsey. That's a plus. Skinny.
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I think you should give it one more shot because these teachers kind of suck. And you know what? If it really breaks you down, go to the army. Okay, but like that was the first year. Like, give it a break.
And then my dad and my stepmom talked me back into going, and I actually had a really good year. And by really good year, I mean I really just started, like, I was like, once you kind of face death, like for example, like wanting to truly give up and never look back, you start not caring, which is the fun of art. Like you start literally just making these loose decisions.
You start
But
doing whatever
it was
you
like
want
the
to do.
harder I tried, the worse things would turn out. So when I stopped giving a fuck, like truly a flying fuck, all of a sudden I unlocked a superpower, and I remember certain people's heads turning like, what? Like Kaylin just pulled up this year? Like,
When you simply stop giving a fuck, you can actually focus on what matters with your art. And I would definitely say
absolutely.
that my art was getting stifled and really fucked up. The more I would focus on what people thought about me. I was like a compression cooker, bro. Like every second, every minute of every year in that major, it was just getting more and more and more. And listen,
And
bro,
then
the
once
first
you're ready
5
to throw in
minutes
the
of it.
towel,
What?
like I said, and then once you fall off that horse, like you're ready to throw in the towel, and you get back on it one more time and just stop giving a fuck. It like,
No, that's what happened. I came back that second year, that attempt at my second year at senior year. And I said, I'm tired of doing all this shit for other people. I just want to have fun. And I was like,
exactly.
oh my God, I love to draw. Like, I was like, wow, what? I thought
Mhm.
I hated to draw.
Same experience here. And you know, if you guys want to at all like go through this process of being an artist, just
Don't do it.
If you want to maybe get through some of these lessons a little quicker, get to the part where you stop giving a fuck and draw what you feel like drawing. Like, doesn't matter what it is. If you're furry, let it out.
Kaylin, stay bringing up furries. Dang.
You know what I asked my dad last night? We were showing him our Fortnite skins, and I said, Dad, you know how you said you'd love me no matter what, whether I'd be gay or whatever? He said, yeah. I said, what about if I were furry? He said, no. And then I pulled out my furry skin in Fortnite and showed him all my furry skins.
That's funny.
Gosh. Well,
he was just messing around.
Did you guys enjoy the show?
I really did. I think it's got lots of potential for one of those sports animes I like, seeing the character development and growth and the failures and the triumphs.
I really enjoyed the show. It kind of hit some chords. I honestly
Yeah,
felt
sorry, man. Sometimes I don't be thinking when I suggest stuff.
Well, you know, I went into it, and honestly, the first episode, I was like, I didn't determine that I was gonna hate this show, but I hated the character, and I was like, let's see this fucker attempt.
Yeah, I was nervous too.
I just think they did a really bad first episode. I'm sorry, I don't like the first episode. But then seeing him grow, it's almost like if you subtract the first episode and you look at the new characters that they came up with, this very sweet boy who's just excited to do art, I felt like I was transported back to my freshman year of college and how happy and excited I was. And I was like, that's what I got to feel as much as possible. And that's why I almost cried several times watching the show already. I'm like, oh my God.
You know, they should have streamlined his unlikable part by just, they tried too hard. Like, he's out smoking and drinking. Like, they could have made him maybe just a little naive and like almost like, yeah, this art thing, I could totally do it. And like at first, like maybe he like approaches it with like this how hard can it be? And then it's like, holy shit, I really need to take this seriously, but also I love it at the same time. So it's not that he was like just this like delinquent / genius / everything they were trying to make him be, but like they need to line it up a little bit more to how he humbles himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mariah, can you go look at the tweet I just sent you? I'm kind of confused.
I don't have my phone on me right now. Let's finish this and then I'll go look.
It says Ice Spice while Nicki and Megan are beefing.
Oh, Ice Spice dropped a song in the midst of the beef, bro. And it wasn't planned. Like, it wasn't like on purpose. She had already planned to drop her song that day.
Oh, and it has nothing to do with them, right?
No, it has nothing to do with them.
Okay, because I was like, is she coming in to like defend Nicki or something? I was like,
no, she was just dropping a song, and then the beef happened that day. It was hilarious.
Like, what do you got to say?
Like, wait, I don't know if you guys can see this video. It's really funny.
Let me see.
Oh my god!
Center it a little more, please. No, back up and center. Like in front of your face, please. No, not put your face behind the phone. Put the phone in front of your face.
Just send it to me, Kinsey, and I will show it to her. Kaylin.
What?
What are you sharing with us next week?
Parasite.
Say it with a little more excitement.
The anime?
No. Although that is a phenomenal
God
anime. I kind of wanted to take it easy and watch a movie.
Okay. Parasite the movie.
It's a popular, award-winning Korean film, amazing movie called Parasite.
Are you sure we're not watching Sugar Apple Fairy Tale?
Is there any more to watch? Where can I go? Where's the bootleg
version?
Run it back. Next week's Parasite.
That's
I
it.
can't wait. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, y'all didn't say anything about my name yet.
No, we didn't say anything about anyone's name.
I can't even